be Tube Capital G here. Got some magnificent duels for you guys to check out. Our first duel takes us back to the Arc V era because we got ABC facing off against Dinosaurs, and this ABC hand is not particularly well. I think running Foolish Burial on ABC pretty much might be like a little bit of overkill, because if you look at this hand, it basically is like 5 monsters per se. You can say Union Hanger is not really a monster, but it kind of just is, because it basically just wrote us for a monster in the ABC archetype, and then Terraforming is just another copy of Union Hanger. Foolish Burial is, again, just another monster. So basically he has a 5 monster hand with no disruption for his opponent, but if you do get Buster Drake on field, then obviously that itself is a disruption. So we'll see exactly what he can do with this opening play. I would assume that most people might go for Bujin Tsukuyomi, but he's not actually going to go for that. Instead goes for Hipposhin again, and then it's going to go for Decode Talker into ABC Buster Dragon. At least he has a little bit of protection, if not a ton of disruption. He does have the Buster Drake, and obviously Buster Drake can tag itself out, so it's not too bad. The Dino guy kind of has a little bit of the same problem, like opening with Oviraptor plus double Fossil Dig. It's almost just too much of a good thing. You have too many monsters per se. I guess you could say that maybe he could Fossil Dig into another copy of Oviraptor and then allure Darkness it away and see if he can draw some different cards. Like, that would probably be the play. In fact, I think that might be exactly what he does. Instead, he does actually banish a copy of Thunder Dragon Roar, so not the Oviraptor, but banishes something else. It was probably worth it there. Looks like he's trying to set up for maybe a Summon Sorcerer's play. It's going to go for Instant Fusion. That is going to be thwarted. He goes for the Thousand Eyes Restrict play. I constantly say I'm a big fan of this play. I feel like there are so many players who just kind of force these Summon Sorcerer's plays, or who try to force these like Summon Sorcerer's plays when they're not really necessary, when going for like Riplodocus when they don't have to. Regardless, the problem is that ABC Buster Dragon can simply tag itself out. His opponent is going to try, well, he actually just threatens the Conductor Tornado by discarding with Buster Dragon, but he tries to put it face down. Buster Dragon's having none of that. He's like, dude, I'm just gonna tag out and get the flip out of here. I believe everything is going to be put face down. But if you're the ABC player, why do you honestly even care? What is your opponent going to do? This was kind of troll here. He goes for Nightmare Phoenix, attempting to pop the Union Hanger. At this point, Union Hanger has kind of already served its purpose, but the thing is, he can simply give up either one of these monsters that are linked with Decode Talker and simply kill your Nightmare Phoenix, and any ABC player is going to take that at that point. It's not even about like protecting the Union Hanger, it's about really just making sure you don't draw a card, and if I can kill your Nightmare Phoenix at the same time, I guess I'll just go ahead and take that. And you can see that the Dinosaur player really hasn't accomplished anything with his opening play. He reborns the Phoenix. He's going to attack some ABC pieces. Doesn't matter. They basically are just going to float. And now you know that, yeah, he really doesn't have any plays. Now, this is going to be a thing of beauty. Really just kind of gets another monster, but it's perfectly fine. His opponent doesn't have anything that's going to stop him. Goes for Sayuja, just using a couple of monsters, but he is going to open up those extra monster zones, and he's going to drop not one, not two, but 3 of them things, dropping 3 ABC Buster Drakes on the field. As a person who is in love with the fusion mechanic, you guys know it's my favorite mechanic. This is honestly just magnificent. Like, this is a thing of beauty, seeing 3 ABC Dragon Buster at the on the field at the same time. I feel like if Calvin Tahan ever sees this video, he might actually just die. He might just die and ascend to heaven seeing this, because this is not something you traditionally see in Master Rule 4. But you know this duel is basically over. He can just get rid of that Union Hanger in his hand, simply get rid of his opponent's Nightmare Phoenix, and then that's pretty much a wrap. His opponent has no chance of surviving. Yeah, that was a really kind of piss poor play from the Dino player, and in my opinion. I think he got a little unlucky with the allure, but he got a Thunder Dragon, and it was a monster and Thunder Dragon Roar that actually like floated. So I just feel like he played that really wrong, or played it poorly, I guess I should say. We got Synchros at the bottom, and they're facing off against Crusadia with a little bit of Mech Knights in it. I don't know. I mean, I guess that kind of works. I think if you're going for this version of Mech Knight, you're basically going for the Equimax type build. You're not really going first, and he has Kaijus to kind of double down on that. Now, you can see his opponent is playing a Synchro based deck, and obviously Synchros want to just drop like Quasars and Blazars turn 1. Anytime you're playing Necroid Synchro, you obviously are going super cheese. If you guys don't know what this card does, it's kind of like I guess you could say it's like a fusion Synchro summon, because it's really not a Synchro summon at all. It's more of like a Miracle Fusion, although the monster is treated as a Synchro summon. You banish 1 tuner, plus up to 2 non-tuner monsters from your graveyard, and then you summon a Stardust Dragon that has levels that are equivalent to the cards that you banish. It can only summon a Stardust Synchro monster. Now, generally summoning a regular Stardust Dragon would not be good. However, you can summon Stardust Seifer Dragon, and that card obviously is really good. Not quite as good as Blazar or Quasar, but you know, it's like the third best of those big level 12 Dragon Synchro monsters. The monster's effect is negated. However, what a lot of people do is they simply banish it and then they'll put it back on the field. So honestly, you can get the effect online, and if nothing else, it does serve as a colossal beater. And you guys can see with these decks, generally it's like step 1 summon Saryuja, step 2 summon a bunch of synchro monsters, step 3 just repeat step 2, and you're basically just trying to go 5-5-2, and just you know, that's always how you get into those level 12s. There's your shooting Quasar Dragon. You know that Blazar Dragon is almost certainly going to be next, and you know, losing Soul Charge really didn't hurt these decks. You know, the no max C and the TCG that definitely helps. There's Blazar Dragon, gonna activate the Necroid Fusion, get Seifer on field. Seifer is, you know, he has his effects negated, but it just doesn't matter. His opponent is playing a cheeky little card called DD Sprite. It's adorable, and it's gonna be the thumbnail of this video. So what DD Sprite does is you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing a face-up monster you control, and then during your next standby phase, you return the banished monster. Now, since the monster is returned from the banished zone, the Seifer Dragon is going to have its effects online, and the DD Sprite can be put in defense mode, so that's kind of cool. Now, he is going to go for that Destrudo. I feel like this was risky. Going for Don Dragster is nice, but you know, you're really going for, I guess, like a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. I'm not sure if it was really necessary, especially against a deck like Crusadia. I mean, giving them half your life points, I feel like that's risky. Granted, you do have Seifer Dragon, you have Quasar Dragon, you have Blazar Dragon, and you have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. I don't really understand how you lose this duel. Even with your opponent having one Kaiju, it's like, come on, man, you got to figure out a way to win this. But he instantly just uses the Blazar Renegade, which was stupid because that's the only one that can actually stop attacks and stop summons. But he's just going to go ahead and he's going to burn it immediately. He's going to use some of his other effects. But the problem is his opponent can simply make Equimax, and the thing about Equimax is nothing really has to activate here because his Seifer Dragon is in this zone, and it's unfortunate because, I mean, I guess if he would have summoned it to Saryuja Skull Dreads, now if he would have summoned it here, it wouldn't have had nearly this attack. Yeah, he put the Seifer Dragon in this column. I guess he didn't know what he was playing against, but that's gonna suck because he's 7,600. He's going to attack for, wouldn't you know, 3,600. He had 3,500. And he ends up having game by 100 life points. I feel like people just gotta stop with trying to put Destrudo in everything, because in this duel, really would there have been that big of a difference between having, I don't know, 3 negates and 4 negates? I would have much rather had the 3,000 life points there, because it would have been almost impossible for your opponent to kill you at that point. I mean, I guess he technically, like in the same situation, he could have just simply Kaiju'd and put a monster in that column, and maybe it's ultimately the same thing, but you know, I don't think he also should have just used his Blazar that quickly. I guess he felt like, hey, I got my opponent's normal summon, he doesn't have any plays, but nope, Crusadia can summon to your link points because Saryuja actually points up to them. So that was just kind of unfortunate. Puts 4 huge negation dragons on board, and he still ends up getting wrecked because Destrudo takes half your life points, baby. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed those short duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.